Have you seen high-low junglers pull off a level 2 Gromp invade and wondered if it's right for you or how to stop it? Hi, I'm Forrest and today I'm breaking down the Raptor-to-Gromp invade path. In past seasons, Grace would often start with red buff and then move to Gromp, but recent map changes have made starting with Raptors and then going to Gromp a more effective strategy. I will explain how this path works, when to use it and how to counter it, with examples from both low and high-low ranks including challenger games. So let's get started. So when should you use this path? I personally go for it whenever I'm playing waves against weaker early game junglers who can't contest the level 2 fight. Think of champions like Sejuani, Kayn, Shyvana, Zac or Rotor tanky or farm heavy junglers. But Graves isn't the only one who can pull this off. Junglers like Elise, Lee Sin, Kindred and Xin Zhao can do it too. Now that we know when to use it, let's talk about execution. I will stick with Graves for this example since he's my go-to for this path. To start, you want to clear raptors using your Q. It's the fastest way to kill them at level 1. Don't smite here, save your smite for the enemy Gromp. Once you invade, think about whether the enemy jungler got a leash. If they didn't, wait until around 2 minutes. This gives them time to use their spells and take damage from Gromp, making them an easy target. Smite their Gromp, and if they are low, you can even go for the kill. But it's not mandatory. If laners start to rotate, it's time to fall back to your red quadrant. Take red buff and skip Crocs to stay on time. This prevents the enemy jungler from counter jungling your blue side. I highly recommend watching Gray, one of the best junglers in the West. He consistently challenger and provides excellent examples of this strategy in action, which I will also highlight later. In this example, I will show you a mistake I made when dealing with Kha'Zix invading my blue quadrant after realizing he lost his blue side. Here is what happened. I took his blue and Gromp, then went back to clear my red. My mistake was not pinging my laners to help protect my jungle while I was betting towards my blue side. Even though I could have pinged them in time, I didn't expect Kha'Zix to invade since I had both mid and top lane priority. You would think players in Diamond wouldn't go for such a risky invade, but frustration makes people do wild things. Luckily, I reacted in time because it was a bad invade, my laners rotated to help and we turned the fight around. Not only did Kha'Zix die, but his top laner got baited into a bad fight too, causing both of them to fall behind early. In the next example, I used this path against Viego, who started on his red side. Here is a quick tip. If you know the enemy didn't start on blue, place a ward near the walls. This gives you valuable information on their pathing and lets you decide if you can take both blue and Gromp or need to back off. I took Viego's camps while keeping an eye on top lane, where my opponent was down 1 HP. I anticipated Viego would feel pressure to make a play after losing his blue and Gromp. Instead of going back into my jungle, I predicted he would go for a desperate top lane gank, assuming I wouldn't be there. By staying in position, I caught Viego's attempt. Even with the red buff, he couldn't win the 2v2 fight because my top laner and I were stronger. The result? A completely one-sided fight that left Viego even further behind. These examples highlight how critical it is to anticipate your opponent's moves and how punishing their bad plays can snowball the game in your favor. In the final example, I will show you how Kirei, a challenger level jungler, takes full advantage of this jungle path and I will explain how you can counter it effectively. The first way to counter this strategy is by using your ward properly at level 1. There is no reason to hold on to it when it can give you critical information to protect your early game. Always ward the opposite side of the map to see if you are being late invaded or if your laner has warded your red entrance. For instance, if you start on blue, ward the river bush to spot invades early. If you are starting on red, place a ward near your blue so you can decide whether to invade and trade jungle camps or keep clearing safely. The second way to counter is by saving your smite. While it's tempting to smite your first buff to reach level 2 quickly, this strategy relies on you making that mistake. Smite early and you will be vulnerable to level 2 invade, with the enemy having smite and a height advantage to win the fight. Instead, hold on to your smite for your Gromp. This catches the enemy off guard and can turn the fight in your favor, especially if your laners are ready to rotate and help. The third way you can counter this strategy is by expecting the enemy jungler to make this play, so you intentionally start on the opposite side in order to avoid the level 2 fight. That's when your ward can be a lifesaver and can help you decide if you should take the enemy blue side or not. If you are the one making this invade, you can ask your laner to ward or you can even ping them to check buff, but that's not too consistent since it highly depends on the elo you are playing because most laners might ignore your call. recall. Just like Kirai did, you can ask your laner to push the second wave in order to make prio and make invade super hard. If you expect the enemy jungler to trade camps because he figured out you took his blue, instead of going back to your red, you want to recall as soon as possible, and with a refresh of extra items, more health and more mana, you will be able to win the potential fight at your blue buff.
I'm gonna insta-base and go to my bot side camps here. Because he took his entire bot side camps, but he didn't take my bot side camps yet. That's why I'm basing here instantly and going here.
And that's the full breakdown of the level 2 jungle path, how to execute it and how to stop it. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.